Alright, so I want to today's video number 4, I believe, 3 or 4 of week 2 on Zehirut, being Zahir, being aware. I want to read today from building a sanctuary in my heart, in second Chelek, and section that speaks about our will is to do your will. So it brings some very powerful concept that I want to share with you. 3 layers of personality. We explained at the end of the previous chapter that the human personality consists of 3 levels or layers. The divine aspect deep in the soul, which is Hashem's will. The inner personal neshama of the individual, of which it says, our will is to do your will. And the third most exposed part, of which it says in Brachos, but what can we do since the leavening in the dough prevents us? Referring to the most external part of the self that wants the opposite of Hashem's will. So we have the neshama, we have the will, the desire to do Hashem's part, which is really the ruach, which is the part that really chooses to follow the neshama, to choose what the neshama is going to Hashem's will. And then I have the nefesh, which is nefesh abahamit in my blood, which wants to go only do its physical, personal thing. We have nefesh, ruach, neshama. That's why it's always working on those 3 levels. We have seen that the level of unconditional love is based on Hashem, the Torah, and Israel are one unity. One can only reach this level when accessing the deeper part of the neshama and finding the agreement of our will and your will. So the more the ruach, the desire, and my thoughts connects to my neshama, which is connecting to Hashem himself, the Chelek Eloka Mimal, it's connecting to what the Torah is teaching, then the more I will naturally know what Hashem wants. But as long as the leavening, the chametz, the yetzara interferes, even if one avoids averos through the force of the intellect, since the desire is still for evil, there is no manifestation of our will is to do your will, and one cannot bond with the Creator. So, as long as my desire are more, as long as this chametz, and there was Pesach, as long as it's chametz and some desire to do things that are pleasurable for the body, that I'm also interested in that, then I cannot be completely one. It should be my really only desire. The desire to want to be with God should be so overwhelming that we don't have any other desire. Okay, we're going to come to Zehirut, but it's really to understand what it means, that unless I understand the layers in me, what's happening in me, I cannot be Zahir, I cannot know what's good or bad, and have clarity. So our avodah is to extricate ourselves from the domain of the Yetzer Hara and enter the domain of the Yetzer Tov. The state of our will is to do your will. As we said, you cannot immediately escape the eye that pulls towards egocentricity in order to access the inner good. You must first awaken the true ratzon of the neshama. The sense of our will is to do your will. Once that is awakened and the neshama is somewhat exposed, you may then transcend the superficial will of the I, the ego, to do evil and bond with the inner will to obey the Creator. So now he's going to start with the lowest level. So there's 3 levels, and now he's going to start with the lowest level. So, as we said earlier, before you begin any practical avodah, you must clarify your inner feelings. How? We will return to the example of eating with the understanding that it is merely a simple example. You are sitting at the table with a particular food in front of you. The moment you feel a desire to eat, you should think to yourself, do I really want to eat this or not? As we said, you might have both of these feelings. You should then examine the 2 wills and say to yourself, the desire to eat is an outer will, not my deepest will. It is a lower layer that covers the neshama and refers to the nefesh habahamis. The inner desire of the soul is not to eat this, and this is the will of Hashem as well. Obviously, we're talking about eating for pleasure, not for sustenance. So you see something, you see some candy, you see some snack. So you have a desire, you see it, and you have a desire to eat it, but you're not necessarily. It's not something that you need for your sustenance. Okay, if it's used for your sustenance, then you say, oh, I have a desire to eat, and I also, my neshama needs some of the sparks of holiness to survive. And my body needs to be healthy, and my neshama needs to be fed. Neshama also is fed. Something people don't know: when you eat, you feed in your body and your neshama. Okay, so because there's chiyus, this spirituality in everything in the world. So when you're clear that you're eating because it's for the health of your body, or because your neshama needs strength, sustenance, then that's not the problem. Here we're speaking about something you're not hungry. Take the food in hand and say, I know that my inner component does not want this. My neshama doesn't really want it, but my outer component does. My nefesh habahamit. I know that the outer component controls me more than the inner one. Since I know that I am more controlled by the outers than by the inner, meaning I'm more controlled by my body than my neshama, I should not fight against the outer because I do not have the strength to do so. Because we know the Yetzer Hara is much more powerful than us, and that the only way I can fight it is with Hashem's help. Therefore, I will eat the food. It is clear to me that my true ratzon is not to eat, but I cannot yet overcome the outer ratzon, therefore I will eat. So he's showing the zeirut, or I see a snack, and